Oh, good morning, my Teaser King family. How's everybody today? I am fine. Sorry, I went to the bank for cover rent for tomorrow. Paper gold for over 4,600. Paper silver 73.54. Happy days. We can see it coming up, and most importantly, it's going up during the U.S. time, which means now the U.S. is starting to buy. So we will see the price go up and up and up. So they're done selling. The problem is then it goes up, and then they profit take it only in paper. You don't profit take physical gold. As we say goodbye to March, tomorrow will be April Fool's. 73.71 silver. Let's take a look at our culprits. 73.71, 73.67, and 46.11. We got up to 46.20, but the big news is we've got through the 45s. Now, how long will this last? I thought I saw it at 46 yesterday. Now, everybody has to buy gold because the dollar's worthless. So as long as we know that, we will expect it to go, keep going up. Very difficult to not. Went to the bank today. So go cover rent. So as you know, I don't keep my money in the bank. I keep it in my safe. But when I get to rent, now during football, I get money in for football. I don't need to, I just leave it in the bank and pay my rent. But non-football, I need to take money that I'm short. So I get so much from Social Security, which has to cover my credit cards and my utilities, gas, food, and rent. And so I always use it for rent first and then the credit cards. And then I make the difference up over the money I get for Social Security with the money I take from the safe. This way it's safe there. So today I took in some to cover the rent and cover a credit card. So I have a credit card due the 4th, which I hate because it's rent plus the credit card, basically. So I put the money in and it hit. And it hit the right account. So then I go talk to the manager. And I'm very, very coy. I don't know anything. Are you planning anytime soon to go digital dollars or anything? She looks at me like she don't know what, like, I don't know what I'm talking about. What do you mean digital dollars? Okay, good. It's a good sign. How about the new currency? Any news on the new currency? She looks at me and I said, well, we know this can't keep going on. This is worthless. And she gives me the strangest look like I'm from Mars. This is a banker who's clueless that the money supply is worthless. So I said, okay, I got my answer. Again, I go in thinking too much that everybody knows we know. So I want you guys to go into your banks next time and ask them any news on digital currency or the new dollar and see if they give you a response. I don't think this lady couldn't tell me. I didn't think she just didn't know what to tell me. She was clueless. She's a bank manager and she's clueless about a new currency. Okay, fine. So as I'm concerned, the dollar will be there. All this bullshit about digital currencies, just as it is bullshit. And that's fine. And off we go. So, you always like to check with the bank. I go to the barbecue, I check them and I go, you guys going digital? Or because you hear Mr. Fuji, the AI guy, say, tomorrow we're going to digital currency. And then and then tomorrow comes and, hey, are you going digital at the restaurant? I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, perfect. I think the restaurants would know if they're going digital since they'd have to accept it, and they don't. So this whole digital thing, bullshit. It's just more AI crap, and this is what we hate about AI. They're introducing stuff that we don't give a fuck about. So as far as I'm concerned, there will be a new dollar. There has to be something to replace this crap, but it's not yet. They'll wait till the last minute, going, "Oh, you mean we can't just keep printing and printing and printing it to death, and nothing will happen?" So that is the problem. So my coffee's screaming. Let me go get it. So it's spring break, and as I'm driving back, the kids are out playing soccer, not baseball or football. And it must be nice working for the government. You get spring break, you get winter break, you get fall break. I work at GM or Mercedes. You don't get any break. You get 2 weeks vacation, which is funny that um, they get a spring break and a fall break and a winter break and Christmas break. Then they bitch about their salary, and you're like, well, you're only working like 30 weeks a year. Well, you can't make what a person who works 52 weeks a year gets. They never say that, but they get a full pension, which we pay for with our printed money. Morning, John C. Tiger Woods was on drugs, opioids. Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. I thought he was just an idiot, but I don't like Tiger Woods. He's the one is getting flag football. He made a deal with the NFL for flag football. I don't know what you're thinking. Opioids are really bad for you. In fact, most drugs are real bad for you. Most of the prescriptions are filled with crap that's trying to kill you. The best drug is the not the photography where you're fasting and your body heals itself. That's the only drug you should be on. Nothing else. I don't even go to a doctor because all he's going to do is give me prescription for drugs, which I don't want to take, which are going to hurt me. And that's it. Notice all my hair when I don't wet it down. It's a little thin. That's why when I look like this, it is. But when you look up top, you can see I'm actually getting hair again. Castor oil, coconut oil, and cayenne pepper, and mix it together. I actually bought a real cayenne pepper today. I'm so excited. Let me show you. It was a good trip to the grocery store and the bank. So this is the real cayenne pepper, and there's a bunch of hot seeds in it. You notice the nice dark red color. So you chop it up, and then you mix it in whatever you're cooking on the frying pan and whatever you're making, and it's very, very hot. So if you like very, very hot, I love the color, but they never have them. I finally they happen to have them at the grocery store today. I was shocked. They have the green ones. But I want the red ones. Anyway, so again, the bank is clueless. Either she can't tell me or she doesn't know to tell me. No digital currency, no new dollar. Um, so expect a new dollar to be coming out soon. I'd say in 6 months, but don't hold me exactly to the date. As I said, gold is moving today over 4,600. I think we'll see it back at 5,000. Now that I paid my rent, basically, when you're retired, things happen by the month. I don't get paid every week or every other week. I'll get paid Monday, Social Security. And then what happens is that money's got to last you for the month. But once you pay, like I'm paying rent, I paid rent today. I got to officially do it. I'll do it tomorrow. Just do the first. And then you're done, right? You pay your rent, you pay your credit cards, you put your food and gas on the credit card. And so you leave very little cash. But once you make the rent payment and once you make the credit card payment and you use your credit card for gas and food, you're pretty much set for the month. It's once a month, you pay your bills. Utilities, I pay out of my bank with my debit card, but I'm going to move that in right into my bank because they're charging me this fee now, $250 because of the card. It's such a joke. So, but you just set it up and it pays, and you got the money to cover that. Then that's all you worry about, and then it's get your Social Security. So my Social Security comes next week. We'll pay the next cycle. It'll pay the May 1st rent and all the May stuff, and part of April, like car insurance and stuff like that. So that's what you have. So I'm fine. So the strategy here that I'm using is it allows me now. It gives me another month of waiting for the gold price to go up. I'm buying time. 3,000. I don't want to sell. 4,000. I don't want to sell. It hit 5,500. I didn't want to sell. But if I have to sell an ounce to get a little bit of cash in, I'll sell 1 ounce. I'm not looking to sell 95% of my gold's not being sold. I'm waiting much higher, and even then, it's just going to be an ounce at 10,000. So it gives me $10,000. Most of the thing you're locked into your mortgage, your rent, you're locked into it. So even though there's inflation and even though the dollar's worth less, they can't raise you. They might raise you the next year, but if you're in a 30-year fixed, you don't have to worry about it. It'll stay there and you keep paying them with heavily inflated dollars that are worthless. And as you're in gold and as the value of the gold goes up, gold's 10,000 and your mortgage is 2,000 a month. That just pays half the year of your mortgage with an ounce of gold. Goes to 20,000, you just pay the whole year with 1 ounce of gold. But the value of your house won't be worth anything. Actually, you won't even do that because you won't owe a mortgage. It'll go to zero because how am I going to pay? The dollar's not worth anything. So that'll be the next stage. So the stage now is it's worthless. The next stage is everybody realizes it, and then the value of the debt and the value of the credit go to zero. In other words, the dollar goes to zero because it's not worth anything, and your house goes to zero, which means your mortgage goes to zero. So you don't have to pay your mortgage anymore, but then again, your house isn't worth anything, so there wouldn't be a mortgage to pay. Then here comes the new dollar and or the gold-backed dollar. Here it'll probably be a new dollar because we don't have any gold. We're not as smart as the Russians and the Chinese. So our dollar won't be worth anything. So your house will be worth zero, and gold keeps going and going and going. And now gold's 10,000 an ounce. Now it's 20. When the shit really hits the fan, gold will be 30, 40,000 an ounce. Actually, it won't even be that because there won't be a dollar to value it at. So gold maybe hits $40,000, the dollar goes to zero. Gold does not go to zero. Gold goes like to 80,000 because now gold is the only money there is. And now the demand piles in, and now what can it buy? Oh, you got gold. Oh, here, I'll give you my house for the ounce of gold. And that's where we'll get to. The banks, I don't know what they're planning, but obviously nothing digital because they didn't know what I was talking about. So I don't know what these stable coins, they won't work. Again, Trump's such a bullshitter. You can't believe anything he says. Oh, we won the Iran war, he says. There's a thing on one of my colonels that I watch, and there's Trump doing a speech. Oh, we basically won the war. They don't have an army. They don't have a navy. They don't have an air force or a navy. They never did. They didn't have it before the war. They don't have a navy, and they don't have an air force. What they have is 50,000 missiles that they shoot out at you from underground, so you can't do anything to them. It's like the movie The Guns of Navarone. Have you ever seen that movie? It's a World War II movie, and it's Gregory Peck and some other folks. And there's these two big guns that are on a cliff overlooking the Aegean. And so any boat trying to pass through, they shoot and sink it. And the whole mission of the movie was destroying the guns of Navarone because the ships can't pass. And either, I assume they had to go the long way. I don't know if they could go another way. So it was like Greece, that area. And so it's in a cave, but the gun could peek out. And so you couldn't really bomb the guns. And then it had the protection of the wall. If you've ever been to Italy, you'll know what I'm talking about. They have I'll show you. They have all these walls there on the coast. So this is what it looks like, right? How the hell are you going to climb that? I mean, you're not climbing it. Now here there is a step path, but you can see if you're trying to invade, how do you get up the rocks? Here's a different view of a different section. I mean, you can't climb that. You're fucked. It's a great fortress. And this is the Amalfi Coast, Positano. I mean, look at this. You're not climbing that. So if I put guns in there, right? If I put guns in there, how are you going to get them? So that's like the guns were in there. And so you couldn't, and that's what Iran is. It's a bunch of cliffs and mountains like this and a bunch of underground, and you can't get them. And then they have holes where they shoot the missiles out. So they don't need an air force to drop bombs. This isn't World War II, and they don't need a navy because they're in a big fucking desert full of oil. So Trump looks like the biggest idiot in the world, thinking he could do a Saddam Hussein where he just kills the leader and then we put in our guy and that's it. Only Iran says, fuck no, you're not putting in your guys. So that's the problem with the war. We took out the leaders, but they were prepared and they have a new leader. So, it's like the quarterback gets hurt and there's a new quarterback, and the second stringer comes in. But the same ideologies. We don't want them to nuke. They never were going to nuke. The leader was against nukes. So the whole contingency of, well, they have nukes or they're going to build a nuke is never going to happen because the leader said, no, we're peace-loving people. We believe in God and God doesn't believe in killing and we're not going to kill. So Trump evades that and takes the one guy out who's not going to do the nukes. And he kills him, and the son says, oh, yeah, I'll do nukes. You wonder if Trump has any brains at all, but he is very dishonest. So we won the war is like Iran won the war, and it's just starting. It's the first quarter. It's already 35-0 with no signs of us scoring. We can't even score on the defense. The defense is all underground. But it's like the guns in Navarone. How are you going to attack the gun and get it out? So they did this bullshit where they came in and they came in where the guns were and then used explosives to blow up the gun from inside. But you couldn't do it from the outside. And that's kind of what Iran is. You can't do it from the outside. You have to actually get into the bunker to blow up. But how are you going to get into the bunker, which won't happen? And Israel's fucked because all their people are living in bunkers. So all these countries have all this underground stuff. The Nazis did it, where they had these whole, like the Hitler bunker. There was all this walkway. You could walk to the subway. You could walk to the airport underground, and nobody would see them. That's how you know Hitler got away, because he clearly wasn't. He's a millionaire. He's going to commit suicide. He shaves the mustache. Off he goes. There's no way he's killing himself. That's impossible. That'd be like a coach quitting. No coach quits. They get fired. They don't quit. But it's always motivated by money. So he had the right war plan as far as, I'll go steal the gold from all these countries, bring it back here, have all these little tunnels underground, and nobody knows. And I'll just play with my gold. And that's what he did. And he went to Argentina. There's no way he fucking died in the bunker. Well, it's Joe, and he's on fire, so you can't see him, and he's wrapped in a blanket. Yeah, that must be Hitler. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'd recognize that. That was Hitler's blanket, of course. Or one idiot says it's the dental records. Do you think the dental records are real? Maybe they switched the dental records to Joe Blow here. Fucking idiots. These people, this is the problem with people. They don't think. And there's a video I'm going to show you. And it's people that just don't think. They're not taught. It says they're not stupid. They're just kind of taught not to think. And in my mind, that is stupid. In other words, they're not critical thinkers like us. We sit there and we look at the game. We go, does that make sense? What we're being told doesn't. We challenge everything we're being told. Does it make sense? That's why I'm very clear in my explanation to you. So it makes sense to you, and you go, yeah, it makes sense. And that's what it is. It's people are not, they don't think, they don't question anything, they just accept it. Oh, Trump says we won the war. Oh, okay, Trump said it, we won the war. I'm not going to question it. I'll go back to playing video games. And that's basically, gold's 40, what is it? Gold's 46.11 today. Okay, well, that's what it is. Oh, what do you mean paper and physical? Oh, there's a difference? Oh, I can't think like that. I see gold at 46.11. I just assume it's physical. Or I assume there's no difference in paper and physical. It's all the same, isn't it? There's no paper and physical gold. It's just gold. And that's what people are just idiots. Oh, I should buy stocks. I'm going to make money in stocks. I'm going to make money in Bitcoin. They don't ask what's it backed by. They don't ask why is it going up. They don't ask why the stocks are going up. They just are. That's great. Oh, look at all the money I made in Bitcoin. It's 120,000. Oops, it was 65,000 yesterday. Oops. Now what do you do? Genius. Now it's 65. It was 120. On its way to what? 20 million. It's just going to keep going up. Only now it's 65,000. What do? You're going to keep holding it until it goes to zero, because when the dollar goes out, it definitely goes to zero. Where gold is money and doesn't need the dollar to value, Bitcoin does. Bitcoin is not, it's air. So there is no Bitcoin value because it's not backed by anything to give it value. Gold is gold, so it has value. So there's no Bitcoin. So Bitcoin goes to zero. So you're going to lose all your money. Or you could sell it and buy gold. Oh, no, but Bitcoin's, higher. And we see gold doesn't go anywhere. Gold's 46.11. It'll never go to 65,000. Oh, really? Keep thinking that. Thank you very much. Yes, it will. It's why are they suppressing gold and not suppressing Bitcoin is your question. I always like grape pop. There's something about it. I always like grape lollipops, but something about grape. I like the blue and the taste. This is diet grape. It's a treat. It's a little 20-ounce bottle. So people just don't get it. They don't ask the critical questions. Um, or they get oh, look how good New England is, or look how good this guy is, or look how good this team is. And they just go with it. They don't question it. They don't analyze shit. They don't even know how to analyze. So what happens is people aren't really being taught physical gold, what inflation is, what paper gold is. They don't understand to even ask the question. So what do you hear most of the time? Well, physical, gold's down. Oh, they're profit taking. Or the funniest one I heard is, well, Dubai can't get out of the country with their gold, so they're selling it for Bitcoin. And that's why the gold price is going down. Okay, how many lies were in that statement? First of all, they can get their gold out of the country without a problem. Secondly, if they can't get it out, they put it in a bunker or somewhere for safety. But I would think they take it with. Thirdly, selling gold for Bitcoin would never happen. Fourthly, selling gold would not make the price of gold go down. And fifthly, you're not profit taking physical gold, which means you have to get into paper shit. And Bitcoin is paper shit. So since when does selling physical gold lower the price of gold? How about never? Because the price is totally manipulated by the options. Only the options being bought and sold control the price. If pensions and insurance companies are buying gold, then the price goes up. If they're selling their options, the price goes down, or margin calls. It's got to be done in the paper market to lower the paper price, not somebody selling their physical gold in Dubai. So again, you're being lied to, but by people that don't know what they're talking. They're looking for an excuse why gold's going down. Somehow in Dubai, they're all fleeing the country because of the war, which is probably false. And then they're like, because they all have deals, and here's a ton of gold. Don't kill us. Oh, sure, no problem. I mean, but that would never drop the price until we get to the physical world. When the price is in physical, not paper, then you'll see a $25,000 ounce of gold price, because now we're in physical. And as I say, the physical supply is 200,000 tons. The paper supply is probably 1 million or 2 million tons. So of course you're going to have a lower price with all the paper, but it's not real. It's just promises. But the actual physical gold is very limited. So of course would have a higher price. So that's what you're getting. You're getting this paper price with a paper supply, not a physical price with a physical supply. So anybody selling physical or buying physical, for that matter, does not change the price at all. It doesn't change it because it's not looking for that. So I love when these people say, well, if everybody bought an ounce of silver, the price of silver would go up. Mark McGuire's show said that once, and I just laughed, like, these guys don't know what they're talking about. Everybody in the world could buy 20 ounces of silver today, and the price wouldn't go up because it's only based on options. It's paper price. So it's just, and then you realize how stupid they are. But because we can problem solve and analyze, we realize that. Most people who don't would not realize that. They would go, oh, I'll go buy price out. So again, it goes into analyzing and problem solving and critical thinking, which is basically problem solving. And that's what you need to do. You need to ask the question. Even if you don't know the answer, ask the question, dig around, ask me, and but what happens? People go to their financial planner who's clueless, who's going to say, oh no, you want to be inside 60% stock, 20% bonds, 20% gold. if you're at Morgan Stanley. I don't want to be in any bonds. I don't want to be in any stocks because the stocks are crashing. Let's see what the stocks are doing today. And again, this is fixed by the central bank printing money and putting it in the stock market to try to keep the market up, to make it look like, oh, the economy is great because of the market. Now, there's no correlation between the two, but that's what they want to tell you. They want to create this correlation. It's up $466, which means they're printing it, and it's up to 45,682. It was 50,000. It's up to 45, on its way to about 5,000, 10,000. So it's all a game. It's all a Ponzi scheme. Paul sent me a video. Paul's one of our students, but he doesn't appear. He doesn't appear here for some reason. He's invited. He could. Oh, I moved him into my Teaser King folder. So, real quick, this gentleman sounds like a guy who's experienced a few bad beats. So this gentleman must watch teaser TK. So I'll play just the first 2 minutes of it. He sounds like an idiot, right? He doesn't know what he's doing.
We were never warned when we were kids that watching sports might ruin our lives. No one ever tells a kid, hey kid, don't watch the NFL because you might grow up to be a total loser and you're going to waste a monumental amount of time. Oh yeah, and it can ruin your life because you might bet a bunch of money and lose, and then you'll end up in debt, and then your whole life you'll be trying to chase getting out of debt by gambling more, and you'll spiral out of control, and it'll all be terrible.
He thinks all the games are fixed. Anyway, this is a loser. He doesn't know what he's doing. That's why he's saying this guy needs to come bet with, get my picks. First of all, we don't care if it's fixed if you bet teasers. We do not lose. I'm not in debt at all, and I'm not in debt from football. I've made a bunch of money in football, and not from selling the picks. In the late 70s, I bought that $1,000 VCR on my football earnings. I bought a car, a Toyota Supra, 1981, with my football money. So, yeah, if you know what you're doing and you can critically think and you can problem solve the games, you win. But again, if you don't know what you're doing, you don't know who to listen to, you lose. I've watched football my whole life. I'm very happy. I make a lot of money betting it because I know what I'm looking for. I know what's good and bad, and I do not believe every game's fixed. I don't like where they're assuming every game's fixed. I don't believe that. In the NBA, if you're laying 18 and they win by 17, that's probably a fixed game. The odds in it landing on 17 are really bad. Or if the over-unders 240 goes to 244, and then so all the betting went over, and they score 238, yes, that's probably fixed. Super Bowl, no way that was fixed. We hit the over, or we hit the under. We hit Seattle, took 4.5 to 1.5, but even at 4.5, they won by 30. Not a fix. What are you talking about? So not every game's fixed. Maybe some of the player props, but I'm not interested in that. I could care less. Only idiots bet the money line because you're not getting fair odds. If you got fair odds, I wouldn't be opposed to it, but you're not getting fair odds. Well, if you take Alabama, you got to lay 10,000 to win 100. But if you take Duke and you bet the 100, you only win 2,000. Wait a minute, I got to lay 10, but I only get 2. That's the problem with money lines. So Baseball's different. It's pretty good money lines. It's 140 and then 160 the other way. Okay, that's pretty fair. You don't see a minus 1,000 baseball, plus 250. So again, this guy, so he sends it to me and he's saying this guy needs to watch you. But this is the problem. You get this crap from these guys who really don't know what they're talking about. So he says, you can play it. I says, but it's a good thing. It's a good thing to see it, but that sounded really weird anyway. That was a guy, I don't know. I don't know what to make of him, but it was like an act. It wasn't real. Oh, don't bet on football. Don't watch sport. Why not? It's entertainment. People are like, did you know the games are fixed? They're not really playing. He starts saying that, and I'm like, you go to a movie, you think that's real? They're just acting. But you go to it, or a play or a concert, they're just playing music. You spend money on that. What's the difference if you spend money on a football game? I think that's what they're trying to do is compare tickets to like a concert, right? Oh, you'll spend 500 on a concert to see the Rolling Stones or Bruce Saperstein or any of these guys. That's one. So you'll spend 500 on the Lions. Maybe that's where they're coming up with this shit. I mean, football's a $50 ticket. That's it. College are doing these licensing. So you own the seat. How do you own the seat? You don't own the seat. You own the right to sit in the seat or something. People are stupid enough to pay. Oh, I got to go to the game. That's my life, is going to a U of M game and sitting in my seat for 3 hours watching them lose to Ohio State and Notre Dame. So you pay like $1,000 for the license, a one-time fee, and then so much each game's probably $100 or $200 now. Who knows? It's way out of control, and I don't know where people are getting the money because they're broke. Well, we can't eat today, Johnny, but we got tickets to the game. We're going to the Lions game. It's $500 a seat, so I'm taking you and mom and your sister, and it'll cost us $2,000, and then parking will be another $100, and then if we want hamburgers or hot dogs and drinks at the game, will be another $500. But guess what, Johnny? We won't be able to eat for a month because dad's not working. But we got to go to that Lions game. I just don't get it. I would never pay 500. I'd much rather buy $500 worth of silver or a quarter or a tenth of an ounce of gold than go to a Lions game. But I think long term, not short term. And that's what you have to do. So anyway, there's some more videos I will show you, but let's get into sports. Let's go to the NBA. I only had one bet yesterday, which was San Antonio over 242, and it won by one. San Antonio 129 to 114 is 243, and it's 242. It's a W. That was the only bet I made yesterday. I didn't like the matchups. The Heat beats Philly 119-109. I had over 246. It actually went down to 243 and actually stayed under. I thought Philly would score more with their starters back. Boston, I have plus 1.5 to Atlanta. They lose 112-102. Jack Tatum doesn't play. This is why it's hard to bet the NBA. Wait a minute. Why isn't he playing? Probably because he was injured. He came back, and they played back-to-back games. And they might have lost because it was back-to-back games, although I thought Atlanta did. San Antonio, we talked about. Oh, because they were playing Chicago, a very high-scoring team. I thought it would be over. Arizona over 229 against Memphis. They win 131-105. Devin Booker, whoever that is, torches them, and the total was 228.5. I had 229, and I went over, and it was a winner. Minnesota over 235 gets 8, 11, 218. That's a loser. Dallas didn't score. Minnesota wins 124-94. So you're expecting Dallas to score more. Cleveland and Utah, I have over that one, 243. And it was a 235. So that lost. The under went down to 241.5, and that did win going under. Oklahoma against Detroit. I took Oklahoma laying 11.5. They won 114-110, so I lost that game. And the Lakers over or under 235. That's a winner. It was 120-101 to Washington. And I figured without Luca Brasi in the game, they weren't going to score as much, and I was right. They still scored 120, but Washington only got 101. And so a 221, I'm under 235. So I have 3 winners and 5 losers, and that's why I didn't like the card. The card was very hard to read. I think I default to the over. I played a lot of overs. The 2 games I played, Boston and Oklahoma, both lost. Boston was back-to-back, but they didn't play their Jack Tatum. Oklahoma, I don't know. The Pistons, I think, are still, let's see, are they still without Richie Cunningham? Let's see the box score. Herter, Jenkins, Green, Thompson, Reed. Yeah, no Cunningham. So he's still out. The Thunder, Shea, 47 points. Wow. Mitchell, 14. Dort, 2. Strong forward. No, small forward. Wallace, 9. And Holmgren, 13. What a strange lineup. Point guard, shooting guard, small forward, and a center. Where's your power forward? Jesus Christ. The power forward comes in Williams. You got 3 points in 30 minutes. And more shooting guards. They've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shooting guards on this team. Fuck, what are you kidding me? Anyway, and that's it. So I go 1-0 on my picks, which is all that matters. And now we've come to 331. Now we see who played today, yesterday. So I'm sure Boston will be off. They played back-to-back games. So let's see who's playing today. Phoenix goes to Orlando. Orlando 1.5, 224. Did Phoenix play yesterday? Yes, they did. They were at Memphis, 131-105. So now we have to dig into problem solving. How much is that going to affect Phoenix playing yesterday in Memphis, playing today in Orlando? It's a short flight. How are these guys dealing with TSA not getting paid and these long lines at these airports? Because unless they have a way to get through the TSA, I mean, that's another issue. Why is the government, first of all, why is the government not paying TSA, but why are these TSA employees of the government? They should not be government employees. You can privatize it out. Who will pay them? Let the airports. Let them be public. Let them charge the planes and all the stuff. And we don't need the government in charge of the airports. Why? What are they going to do? All they do is screw it up. The government's mission is to steal your money. It's not to run efficiently. That's why airports suck usually. So I would privatize the airports and let them be responsible for security. I'm not sure I would have TSA. I don't need a federal agency security. I can hire guys from Desert Storm, and they can probably do a much better job at security than TSA agents, unless they're Desert Storm people. You can probably pay them better and not the government rigmarole. So this should be privatized. So now you're not paying them; they're walking off the job. What is government? Well, we want to get rid of ICE, and if you don't get rid of ICE, we're not going to pass your budget to pay the TSA people and hold us who are trying to travel hostage at the end of the day. I don't know what you are afraid of ICE. It's just another security measure, which again should be privatized. All these things should be, the government should not control anything, right? The government should only be in charge of fair laws, some sort of military, making sure the money is gold and silver, and free trade. That's all the government's supposed to do. There's 5 basic little functions. Make sure the laws are there, make sure there's the money's sound, the laws, the free trade, a small army to defend, and not get in everybody's business. And I think there's a 5th one, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. Let's see if I have it in my notes. Anyway, I think we know what the 5 are. But that's the point. That's all the government's supposed to do. Okay, so anyway, one thing leads to the other. So is Phoenix being held down in Memphis airport to get to Orlando airport? Or are they going to start driving? I don't know. Anyway, so Orlando 1.5, 224. I've got to be careful with Phoenix playing back-to-back games. Orlando 39 and 35 is okay, nothing special. Orlando 1.5, 224. See, I don't know if I can bet the game over because Phoenix played yesterday. They're going to be tired, or their shots will be off. So maybe we take Orlando. So let's take Orlando minus 1.5. Let's see if everybody's playing. So now I got to check to see who's playing and who's sitting. So fucking stupid. Dylan Brooks, I don't know who he is, set to return on Tuesday. Phoenix gets boost. Dylan Brooks set for return versus Orlando. Okay, so he's on Phoenix. They get a boost. Who is he? Sounds Dylan Brooks set to return from hand fracture. If this was Isaiah Thomas, he'd have been playing with the hand fracture, or Billy Lambert, or those guys. All right. So, wait, that's it. So a guy named Booker is their big assist man. Oh, point scorer. I don't know. Devin Booker against Bing Chiro. Never heard of these guys. So let's take Orlando, although they argue Phoenix is getting their player back, but he won't be in shape with the broken hand that he should never have missed any time with. A hockey player would have played with a broken hand. Charlotte goes to New Jersey, and I believe Charlotte played yesterday. Now they're playing back-to-back. I believe that, or they played Sunday. Charlotte. Now, Charlotte didn't play yesterday. And I know Brooklyn. Brooklyn was West Coast, so they flew back. Charlotte's the better. Oh, shit. Charlotte's laying 17.5. What are you going to do with that? And a total of 219. So I'm very, very afraid to lay 17.5. This is where the fix comes in to me. Okay, you're laying 17.5. You can win by 16, win by 15. Not a problem. But you do see 30-point wins. So you're confused on this. The Nets stink. They haven't gotten 20 wins yet, and we're 75 games. There's only 7 games left. So now we start looking who needs the game for the playoffs. But as we check, they're pretty much set. The difference between the top 10 and then after are many games. There's no advantage of, the last four are in that playoff. So there's no advantage to uh, moving up to number 7 or 9. Maybe it's the home court, but it's stupid. So I can't really take Charlotte late 17. So then it goes over under 219, and you just don't know Brooklyn. Now here, are they tanking? I would say no, they're not. They're just got bad players. All right, the Raptors go to Detroit. Detroit played Oklahoma yesterday at Oklahoma, so this is 2 games in a row. Detroit's laying 2.5, 220. Let's see if anybody is missing from Toronto. No, it doesn't really say anything about it. Now, Detroit did play Orlando, to overtime. Detroit looks okay without Richie Cunningham. I don't know who any of these players are. Never heard of them because now there's no value in watching college because you have no idea who, they play one and done. So it's not like you can follow Magic for 2 years or Michael Jordan or James Worthy or Kareem at UCLA and Bill Walton. You can't follow any of these guys. You don't know who they are. They come from Europe, so who the hell knows who they are? And so it's very difficult. So I'm gonna take Toronto because I think they were off yesterday. Let's just make sure. Toronto play, but I'm getting my Sundays and my Mondays mixed up. Yeah, Toronto played on Sunday night. Okay. So here they're at Detroit. So I'm going to take Toronto plus 2.5. Again, I'm not going to bet it. I don't have enough confidence in that, except for Richie Cunningham being out. But they seem to play well. Playing overtime with Oklahoma is good. I just like the dog in this game. The Knicks go to Houston. The Knicks are 1.5, 218. I'm going to play Houston. Now, let's check if everybody's playing because I'll play Houston, and then I'll find out half the team's out. I mean, why is the Knicks favorite at Houston? Rockets Knicks list 8 players in total on injury report. All right, so now you're getting injured players. So I'm not going to take Houston in 1.5. I'm going to go under 218 and a half. And I'm not going to bet this. I just think with all these injured players, you got backups playing, I assume. Dallas goes to Milwaukee. Dallas is favored by 1.5, 228. Here we're going to go under. This I will bet. Dallas under 228.5, and I'll go 2 units. So this will be the play for the day. Milwaukee without Antelope and Dallas, I don't know. Cleveland at the Lakers. Cleveland scores a lot. The Lakers should have Luca Brasi back. The rest of the Godfather cast. Lakers 1.5, 2. So here we're going to go over. So LA over 236.5, and I'll go 2 units on this. This makes sense. Okay, you got Luca back. You got Cleveland, who's been hot. Portland goes to San Diego. Now, I like Portland when they're at home getting an East team. That's when you bet on them, or Phoenix. Here going to San Diego, there's no West Coast advantage. San Diego, 5.5, 227. NBA approves $4 billion sale of Blazers to group led by owners. This tells you how bad the money supply, how weak the dollar is. $4.2 billion for a fucking basketball team. I mean, and then these guys who own the Hurricanes, Miami, I guess, um, can afford 4.25. Plus, they own the Miami Hurricanes, so they can own them and have money for 4.25 billion to buy that like it's nothing. This shows you that the dollar's gone. When you start seeing in the billions, remember we're looking at Zimbabwe dollars. And you start seeing a $1 trillion bill that's worth 2 cents, it's worth a nickel. That's when you know the money's gone. When you start seeing US dollar, $1,000 notes, don't walk, run, and buy as much gold and silver as you can. I'm preparing you to do it now before those $1,000, $5,000 bills come out. Because you can't hold your prices down when the dollar has no value. And so that's when you know Venezuela, Zimbabwe, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, all these countries are, that's why they're all going to the gold. Why do you think they're going to the gold standard? And then it needs a higher gold price because now as prices go up, you can't afford it. So you need a higher value of gold to print enough money so people can get the money. But Russia, China, they've gone to a gold currency, gold-backed currency. It's the only way to go. So, am I playing Portland and San Diego? San Diego 5.5, 227. I'm going to go with Portland plus 5.5. No bet. So the plays: take Orlando minus 1.5, Toronto plus 2.5, Houston under 218.5, Dallas under 228.5. That's 2 units. We've got the Lakers over 236.5. That's 2 units. And Portland plus 5.5. The ones that aren't 2 units, don't bet. I'm not, unless you're planning on betting the game. So if you like Toronto getting 2.5, and now I like, go ahead and bet it on your own, but not through me. All right. So that's NBA, NCAA. We don't really give a shit about women's basketball. I like how they try to throw that down our throat like we care. All right. Illinois, 1.5. It was 2.5. We bet UConn at 2.5 as soon as we saw it. 139.5. I'll just pencil it in. So the bet, we're taking UConn, which is the better team, getting points. You got to love it. 3 units, not 2. Go 3 units. A little bit stronger. In Michigan, Arizona, Michigan is still 1.5, 157.5. And I like Arizona getting 1.5. Arizona will win it all. They're the best team in the tournament. I don't know what Michigan is on their offensive and defense ratings. They could be in the, I think they would have said that they're in the top 5 also. So anyway, that's the Final Four. And oh yeah, it's on TBS. Half the audience can't watch it. I don't get TBS. I have Spectre cable, and that's one thing when I move I'll be looking forward to is getting the getting like Xfinity or seeing what this Mint Mobile's about with the Green Lantern guy always trying to do these stupid commercials. It's all about price, baby. Now he's supposedly their internet's $15 a month if I can use it. I just need it for this, and I need it for the TV. Otherwise, I don't really need the internet. My phone doesn't need it. So that's what you have with that is that. So that's your basketball. Let's go to baseball. Just as I thought, Verlander gave up 8 runs in 4 innings yesterday. I can tell you the scores, but they're really meaningless right now. I guess we'll quickly run through them. This is yesterday. KC 3, Minnesota 1. And it's really bad. It doesn't really tell you the pitchers. Let's see if Yahoo tells us. Well, Yahoo's not telling us the pitchers. Yahoo's is worthless for baseball. So KC 3-1 over Minnesota. We don't know the pitchers. Texas beats Baltimore 5-2. The Reds 2, Pittsburgh nothing. Washington 13, Philadelphia 2. The White Sox 9, Miami 4. Colorado 14, Toronto 5. The Braves 4, Oakland 0. Tampa Bay 3, Milwaukee 2. The Cubs 7, California 2. The Mets 4, St. Louis 2. Houston 8, Boston 1. Altuve hits 2 home runs. There you go. Seattle 2, the Yankees 1. Cal Raleigh walks it off for Mariners. Well, you got to pitch to the guy. What kind of crap is that? The Giants 3, Padres 2. Cleveland 4, the Dodgers 2. And Arizona 9, the Tigers 6. They got 6 runs in like the 8th inning. So they were losing like 8-0. So today we will look at the pitchers. So in that game, Verlander gave up 8 runs in 4 innings. His ERA is like 60. But the ERA goes for 9 innings. He was terrible. He threw 80 pitches in 3 innings. He threw 80 pitches, gave up 4. I think he gave up maybe 6 runs in 3.5. No, it was probably 8 runs in 3.5 innings. So everybody, we got Verlander. Yeah, he's not 20 anymore. He's 43. He lost 11 games in a row, 11 decisions in a row last year for the Niners. So just because you hear Verlander, this is not 20-year-old Verlander. He's not good anymore. So I don't know what you were thinking when you got him, that he was 25-year-old Verlander, but he's not. All right. So let's see. Texas and Baltimore. Texas at Baltimore. Texas is a 124 favorite, 8.5. Jacob deGrom going. There we go. And Zach Eflin for Baltimore. Okay, very nice. It's giving me 0 ERA. Let's see if we get Skenes. I mean, I'm thinking we should start getting ERAs, but I keep seeing 0s. So I'm wondering if this is working. Yeah, maybe they're. So deGrom against Eflin. So this is their 5th game. I would think Eflin has pitched already. And deGrom's making his start. So deGrom's a favorite. This is probably an under with deGrom going. But again, he's only going 6 innings, let's say. So how good are the relievers 7th, 8th, and 9th? And you have 7, 8 relievers. Which relievers are you going? And are you pitching the good ones or the bad ones? This is going to depend on the score. If they're up 2-0, he's putting in the good reliever. If they're up 6-0, he's going to put in the shit reliever. This is the problem with betting baseball. Miami against the White Sox. Miami's a 146 favorite and 8 total over under. Jay Junk with a 0 ERA and E. Fetty for the White Sox. no ERA. We got Cincinnati Pitt. The game's even at 105. Chandler for Pittsburgh and Williamson for Cincinnati. Not much data. Washington against Philly. Philly 185 and 9.5. Poland for Washington and Painter for Philadelphia with a 0. We're not getting help with the ERAs yet. Colorado Feltner against Scherzer for Toronto. Scherzer 257, big favorite. We'll see how his arm is, but at least he's healthy, which is a good sign. Oakland and Atlanta. Atlanta 154, 9.5. Chevalier for Oakland, Suarez for Atlanta. I think most of these games should go over if we don't know if these are the fifth pitchers, because we don't have ERAs on them yet, but they obviously suck if this is Atlanta's fifth game and there's Suarez, but we don't know, so we can't play it. The Cubbies against California, 138, 7 ERA. Soriano for California, Talion for the Cubbies. Tampa Bay, Milwaukee. Milwaukee 122, 7.5. McClanahan for Tampa Bay and Woodruff for Milwaukee. No help. The Mets against St. Louis. The Mets 158.5. Senga for the Mets. Palante for St. Louis. Boston, Houston. Houston 142. Favorite 7.5. Bello for Boston. Now, Hunter Brown, I remember from last year. I like Houston in this game. I'll give you Houston here. 142, favorite 7.5. Yeah, let's go Hunter Brown. He's good. I can't believe he hasn't pitched. They played 5 games. Am I just not getting an ERA? So I'm confused. Player stats on the 26th, he played California, 9 strikeouts. So where is their ERAs? He lost to California 3-0 with apparently he gave up. So he probably shut him out. So maybe his ERA is actually 0. Yeah, he pitched 1 game with a 0. So he actually has a 0 ERA. Okay. Very good, because I thought he would have pitched by now. Yeah, so I like Houston in this game. I'm going to put here MLB Houston minus 142. And I'll go 2 units on this game. I like Hunter Brown's very good at home. Detroit goes to Arizona. Casey Mize against Fat. Fat really sucked last year. Arizona 111. Detroit's 2-2, and Arizona is they're giving me a road. What stupid stats. So they're giving you a record, but it's on the road. They're not giving me a win-loss record. I guess it is. Win 2. It's Arizona's 1-3. That's right. Okay, then in parentheses, 1-0 at home. Jesus Christ. Detroit 2-2 on the road. And okay. So Arizona, Fat, he sucks. Casey Mize always has struggles. Can't pitch the whole game. Can't pitch the whole year. Very injured, but he is better than Verlander, and he's better than. I'd have him ahead of Skubal. I mean, if Skubal's not going to try, I don't want him out there. So we'll see. Arizona's favored, so we'll go. The Yankees in Seattle. Fried. Here we go. Max Fried. A 0 ERA against, here we go, Logan Gilbert for Seattle, 5.4 ERA. All right, finally we're getting it. The Yankees are a small favorite, 106. They're 3-1 on the road, and Seattle's 3-2 at home. And they played 3 under games, the Yankees. I'm going to go with the Yankees here with Max Fried. Minus 106, so we'll go 2 units there. All right, so 2 units on Houston with Hunter Brown, and we'll go 2 units with the Yankees and Max Fried. Especially because Logan Gilbert has a 5.4 ERA, and Max Fried's got a 0, which is real after 1 game. So, yeah, and Seattle, I noticed last year was not very good at home. They were better on the road. Let's go the Yanks. Let's go Houston and the Yanks. The 49ers and the Chargers. Logan Webb, 10.8 ERA. Marquez hasn't pitched or he's shut out. No, he hasn't pitched. Frisco's 1-3. I don't know what RL means. If the record's 1-3, 1 loss, what does RL mean? Very strange. 0-4. But against the number, money line, I don't know what it is. Over under, they got 3 unders, and San Diego's got 3 unders, it looks like. So it tends to probably be an under game. Logan Webb with the 10-8, I'm not going under. I don't know who Marquez is. Cleveland goes to the Dodgers. Tanner Bibby, 5.4 ERA, goes against Shotani. Who has he pitched? I mean, this is his. They're just showing him. I mean, where are the fucking pitching stats? Because they give him his hitting and then they give him. Oh, here we go. Oh, wait, here it is. Oh, he hasn't pitched yet. So this is his first game. I think it hurts him pitching and batting. I think it's really stupid. I don't see any value in it at all. He's either Babe Ruth and he's a good hitter, so you bat him, or he's a good pitcher and you don't play him every day. Pitchers need to rest. That's why they do it every 5 days, to rest their arm. And it's tough on the legs. So what they're doing is incredibly stupid. It's a short-term fix. I'd give it another year or 2, and then he'll be toast. All right, so the Dodgers 249. Well, Bibby's so bad. Cleveland, can they hit? I don't know how to read those things. I'll need to see a box score. So we'll look at the box score tonight when they play. I'm not going to play. I wouldn't touch Shotani. Bibby, 540. Maybe an under. It's hard because the Dodgers have good hitting. All right, so 2 picks for you in baseball. Houston versus somebody. We'll take Houston, 2 units. We'll take the Yankees, 2 units, Max Fried and Hunter Brown. So you got some good pitching there. Let's see. Now let's look at yesterday. Let's see if we can get a Cleveland. Okay, let's look at the box score. Hopefully, it's a normal box score. All right, here we go. Quan hits 318. That's fine. DeLalter, new DH, hitting 286. Ramirez, 143. Man, Zardo is hitting 111. Hoskins, a pinch hitter, 429. You probably need to play him a little bit more. Schneerman hitting 231. Rocchio, 154. Herreras, the shortstop, 071. The catcher, Hedges, hitting 500. And E. Martinez, the right fielder, hitting 300. So there's major lineup problems from this manager. All right, so it's too early. We'll keep our eye on it. So that's baseball. Now, I'm going to show you what's happening in Russia, why I'm not getting conversations. So if you know anybody in Russia or friends that are Russian and talk to their family in Russia, you're not talking to them. Why? They're being censored. Due to the war, well, let's just read it to you. Due to the war, they're censoring like Telegram and even the internet. Mobile internet blackouts. Mobile internet is often disabled in various regions. This is in Russia, often linked by authorities to drone security threats. So they're worried about drones targeting. And if you're on the internet, maybe you're telling them where to hit. So I think they're worried about people in Russia going to these people in the MI6 or CIA saying, "Oh yeah, I'm on Moscow Street, and yeah, you can drone it." These outages have disrupted daily life, impacting banking, navigation, and ride-hailing services, meaning Uber. Targeting censorship, foreign social media platforms and apps, Telegram, WhatsApp, voice calls are frequently blocked. VPN restrictions, this is what Daria uses to talk to me. She gets a VPN. Russia has intensified its crackdown on virtual private networks, making it harder for users to bypass restrictions. And this is my comment to my friend. Now I understand no Telegram or email. It's tough for both of us, no contact. Key factors affecting traffic: border controls, intense questioning, phone checks for anti-war settlement. That's if you're not for the war, you're against the Russians. And scrutiny of social media are common at checkpoints, particularly at the Moscow airport. Restricted groups, individuals in the military, those with pending lawsuits, high debts over 30,000 rubles, which is not a lot of money. It's about 80. So it's like $400 is 30,000 rubles. Or access to state secrets are legally prohibited from leaving. So in other words, if you owe a debt of 30,000 rubles, you can't leave the country. We don't think like that. We go, oh, come on, why not? Nobody knows if I have a debt. I can leave the country. I mean, everybody here has a mortgage. You have a mortgage of, let's say, a $300,000 house. You can't leave the country, right? Document checks. The FSB, which is their KGB, which is their CIA, the FSB can compensate passports suspected of being invalid, and those with travel bans must surrender their passports. Logistically, challenges direct. So if they're invalid, well, and those with travel bans, so maybe part of these military, or if you have debts. Russian targets VPNs used by millions in Putin's latest internet crackdown. The Kremlin has blocked WhatsApp, has slowed down Telegram, and has repeatedly jammed mobile internet. So what I'm asking is, well, where's Daria? Why hasn't she talked to me in a while? Oh, she's got another boyfriend or she's not with me. No, it's that now you understand. So if you know anybody in Russia or friends and family, they're not going to be able to, they're going to block it. So if your friends and family are counting on money for food, they're in big trouble. They can't really talk. So I was reading that today again, wondering why didn't I get anything from Telegram on Telegram from Daria? And now we know. So when I go on her Telegram, it says she's last seen March 24th. That was last Tuesday. So I discovered that today. Yeah, because it gets frustrating. It's like if you don't hear from your kid, let's say, your girlfriend or your wife or fiance or your mother or family member. And it's like, God, I normally talk to her like every day, maybe every other day. What's going on? And, you don't know what to think. And that's the problem. So they're blocking this because of the war, which leads you into wondering, well, now everybody wonders. I always trusted my gut saying, no, I know we'll be together. I know we want to meet. I know there's problems with the war. And no, she's just taking, now you realize, no, it's a war and Russia's restricting a lot of that. So it'd be very tough to meet her. Hopefully the war ends soon and we can be together, but it's not her. She's not the one like, oh, I just want my rent money from you. And that's it. I know that's not the case. I can feel that. I got gut instinct on that. And I'm pretty psychic. All right. So that's what's happening in Russia. Air travel, as I said, with TSA. Here in Detroit, it's not bad, supposedly a half hour. If I were to travel to Amsterdam or Europe or Singapore to meet Pat, I would take like a 10 a.m. flight on a Tuesday or a Wednesday when the airport's not crowded. Now, out of Detroit, it's not bad. Houston, they keep showing Atlanta, these big regional airports, of course, probably Chicago, probably long lines, but you've got a lot more people. But in Detroit, it's pretty quiet, especially where I'll fly out of the North Terminal, which is really nothing. And that would be it. So I'm not planning on traveling now. I'm busy with the apartment. I should get the lease soon and then get my address and then start changing over my utilities and my mail, things like that. I need the packing up isn't too bad. It's just the kitchen, the dishes and the spices, and it's the spices in the plates. My clothes, I'm just gonna throw in I'm gonna get a U-Haul. I got a friend from the pool. He'll help me. I'll give him an ounce of silver for it, but he's a gold and silver guy. He'll appreciate it. And my couch, my bed, this table, my TV, and that'll go in there. And then my kitchen stuff, and then my baseball cards will probably go in there. The really expensive ones will stay with me, and the gold and silver will stay in my car, and my clothes will go into my car, and that's it. It's not a lot of packing, just the dishes. So May 1st is a Friday, and I will be excited to move, and I'll save probably $350 a month because I'll probably put the cable on credit card Not like right now, it's part of my rent. Well, there it'll be on credit card. So my rent will be 12.89, which is I'm paying 16 and a quarter. I'll pay that tomorrow. So that's 350. That's huge for my purposes because it allows me to not take money out of the safe, to hold on to my gold. I don't need the money for more longer periods, which is perfect. Um, so that's what's happening there. So missed Daria, but I know it's not her not wanting to talk to me. Uh, and I think she's real like, why aren't you talking to me? And I think she realizes I can't. I am. I'm texting her. I'm emailing her every day, but she can't get out. I don't. I got an email from her on the 22nd or 23rd, but really since the 24th, there's been no email from her. I assume she just doesn't have that internet access, even though she's got the VPN. Um, so we'll see. Anyway, so that's gold and silver. Just keep buying it. It's good news that we see it going up because now the US is done compressing it and now it should skyrocket. You've gotten your shorts out, uh, and now you must realize the dollar's worthless. Wars are extremely expensive. All the little missiles are $1 million missiles, and you're firing 100 of them. But then you fire them. Now you need new ones. So now you got to get more ammunition and more of these. If they do a land, if they try to get men in there on a land thing, they're going to get slaughtered. How stupid is Trump? Why is he listening? The reason I think is he's listening is because of Epstein. He's obviously blackmailed. He was obviously there with young girls. He doesn't want it to come out, and they're blackmailing him. It's obvious. Um, the Strait of Hormuz is really meaningless because all that oil goes to China, Japan, Korea. It doesn't go to. It doesn't come here. So why are our gas prices higher? The flow of our oil hasn't stopped. What is it, West Texas? Well, as far as I know, there's no blockage from Texas to the pumps. If anything, we're probably making more oil, as is Russia. They're probably pumping out more barrels to make up for the loss of supply there. So the Straits of Hormuz, it all goes to Asia. So I don't. Why is my gas price higher? And it went up. It was like 4.25. It's now down to like 380. So it's calming down. But gold should be going through the roof. Again, paper, they want you in stocks. The banks are in trouble. The banks have all these options on gold, betting, trying to keep it down, and it's not working. And then people should be buying it hand over fist. But as we know, as I stated earlier, buying physical gold does not raise the price, or selling physical gold does not lower the price. These commentators that think that are just fucking idiot. They don't know what they're talking about. Please, as soon as you hear that, please get off the channel, call the guy a moron, and move on. He doesn't know what he's talking about. You cannot move the price selling or buying physical gold. The only way it can go is COMEX, because it's a COMEX price on their options. As they're doing options, buying and selling, now I would imagine, and they've been selling for the Fed, but now they're buying for the Fed, and the Fed needs gold to cover these options, to cover when they ask for delivery, they actually have to deliver the gold. I don't know how much longer COMEX is. I don't know. I don't think there's any gold left in COMEX or your Fort Knox or anything like that. And any other Die Hard movie we can get in here. There is absolutely there's just nothing left. So don't, it's only 200,000 tons, of which I will say that BRICS has 75% of it, probably about 180 tons. 180,000 tons of the 200,000 tons is probably between China, Russia, India, UAE, and Dubai. And Trump's hitting all these BRICS countries. And all it's doing is making them stronger, and it's weakening the U.S. It's weakening all these countries with the bullshit dollars. These dollars are printed to death. They're worthless. So, as I told you, I went to the bank and I go to the to the manager, and I go, any word on the new dollar? And she looks at me like I'm from Mars. What new dollar? I said, well, this dollar is worthless. You have to come out with a new dollar. She ain't heard of it. So not only is she clueless, not knowing what inflation is or the dollar's worthless, but even that they're coming out with a replacement is clueless. You have to replace it. Nobody wants this crap, the Snickers wrapper, as Putin put it. So we'll see. So I assume what Putin's doing in Russia is they're using the internet against him. That's why he's banning it, which is okay. I understand that. I'm waiting for Daria, so not a problem. We've talked long enough. We know how we feel about each other, so that's it. So all the dollars are worth. The wars are very expensive, so it's ending the dollar quicker than longer, which means that gold and silver physically will start coming. They will start doing a physical price because this COMEX thing is just obsolete. What worked in the 70s and 80s is not working now. BRICS has made that. So BRICS is our buddies. We love BRICS. They're making that gold and silver go to the moon, and we're going along for the ride. And that's all that we can do is, again, I talked yesterday about cause and effect. And the effect is the cause is hitting the iceberg, and the effect is the boat sinks. The cause is printing the dollar, and the effect is the dollar loses all value. And the lifeboat is gold and silver. And that's what you got to understand. And so as long as we seize causes and then we get to the effects, we see what happens. All right. I think there was some YouTube stuff. My battery's a little low. I was going to charge it and I went to the thing. So. All right, let's do an Egon, and then we're going to do Frank Zappa.
Looking at what the world is doing relative to the increase in the gold price, ETF investors in gold are certainly not keeping up with the increase in the gold price, which means that the percentage of gold to assets, all financial assets, is probably still not more than 0.5% that it has been for the last few years. Only 0.5% of world financial assets are still in gold. That's going to change dramatically. I would think that it would probably go to 10 times to 5%, which has been a historical figure, which we've seen many times. So this is the potential we're looking at for gold and for silver. Therefore, do not be scared by a small correction in a very long-term uptrend. In the next few years, wealth preservation is all about holding real assets, gold, silver, commodities, and getting out of the paper assets. That's the only way you're going to survive this massive change in asset allocation that the world is going to experience in the next few years.
All right. Now, Frank Zappa was a musician.
This Frank Zappa interview proves he was right all along.
Schools train people to be ignorant with style. They give you the equipment that you need to be a functional ignoramus. American schools do not equip you to deal with things like logic. They don't give you the criteria by which to judge between good and bad in any medium or format. And they prepare you to be a usable victim for a military-industrial complex that needs manpower. As long as you're just smart enough to do a job and just dumb enough to swallow what they feed you, you're going to be all right.
Many young people today walk around like they've been lobotomized with a colored crayon. Just turn the clock back to 1981 and listen to Frank Zappa lay it out plain and simple.
So I believe that schools mechanically and very specifically try and weed out any hint of creative thought in the kids that are coming up.
So what's the alternative for the parent who would agree with you?
Well,
Homeschool.
remember that the school isn't the only place that a child gets educated. If you realize that the schools are doing damage, and I believe this, I believe that schools do a lot of damage to kids, then you should do what you can at home to help give them something to counteract what's happening to them at school.
The man wasn't just some eccentric rock star with a mustache that could scare small children. He was like a prophet. And in that old interview clip that's been making the rounds again, Zappa dropped truth bombs so heavy they still echo today. Schools train you to be ignorant with style. Read that again. Usable victim. Not educated citizen. Not critical thinker. Not innovator. Victim. As long as you're just smart enough to punch a clock, flip a burger, or sit in a cubicle, and just dumb enough to swallow whatever narrative the powers that be feed you on the nightly news, you're golden. But show a spark of real creativity. Ask too many questions. Or, God forbid, develop grave doubts about the system. That's when the trouble starts. The system doesn't like stomach problems. It likes compliance. That's why in 2020 people like Joe Rogan were labeled enemies, because they questioned the norm. Frank was right. Look around. 45 years later, what do we have? A generation glued to TikTok, drowning in debt and despair, convinced that their feelings are more important than facts. Public schools have turned into ideological boot camps where kids learn more about gender ideology and climate guilt than they do about the Constitution, basic math, or how to think for themselves. Zappa saw it coming. He watched the factory line churn out obedient little cogs for the machine. The same machine that needs bodies for endless wars, consumers for endless debt, and voters who are too checked out to notice when their rights are quietly stripped away. He said the schools mechanically breed out any hint of creative thought. And if you don't believe him, just ask the average high school graduate today to name the 3 branches of government or explain why the First Amendment matters. Crickets. The irony? The same people who scream loudest about equity and inclusion are the ones keeping the system exactly as Zappa described it. Because an educated, independent populace is the last thing the ruling class wants. They want dependents. They want followers. They want usable victims. Zappa didn't just complain, he acted. He homeschooled his own kids when he could, told parents to pull their children out before their minds rotted from exposure to the mediocre system, and famously quipped that if you want an education, skip college and head to the library. He knew real learning doesn't come from state-approved textbooks or DEI seminars. It comes from curiosity, skepticism, and the courage to stand alone. What's your say? Comment below.
So, all right. So let's talk about that. So that's exactly what we say.
Looking at what the world is doing,
It's stupidity, right? People are stupid because they don't know how to think and ask the question. When I'm in the interview and I go, "Do you have any questions?" and I go, well, "Why is gold still 2,000 an ounce or now 5,000 an ounce?" and I couldn't get an answer, I knew the guy was an idiot. So, do I really want to work for idiots? I didn't get the job probably because I scared them. And that's my problem now. I'm getting too smart. I'm understanding what's happening. And I speak out about it, as you can hear me here. And people are scared. I scare people when I bring up the dollar's worthless. How much gold and silver do you want? Oh, you're in the stock market. And I scare them. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to know. They're confused. They're being told that my money's good in the stock market. If you have 500,000 in the stock market, you think you're set for life, you're going to retire. And then somebody like me comes up and says, well, it's all worthless. Do you want to hear that? Even if it's true, you don't want to hear it. Right? And that's the problem. So this is the pushback we get when Bobby's kids ask Bobby, you can't take gold to the grocery store. And Bobby doesn't know what to answer, except he knows he's right. And he is. It's all about, you've got to understand what's happening, but you have to think about it. You have to problem solve it. That's the key. That first video I showed you, the guy crying because he lost all his money betting on football, going, it's all fixed and you spend the rest of your life in debt. I've never been in debt over football betting. I have a bankroll. I only bet what I can afford to lose. So if I do lose, it's okay. It's part of my bankroll. I can comfortably pay my bills. It's the extra money I earn. If I earn $1 $1,000 and my bills are 500, the other 500 I can use to gamble with. And if I lose it, I still have the 500 to pay my expenses. And that's the key to it. If he would have done that, he wouldn't be bitching and moaning. But again, if you problem solve these games, you can pick them. Today, Max Fried going, I'm going to play that. Hunter Brown going, I'm going to play him. I might not win, but I have a good chance of winning with those pitchers, or the basketball, or taking UConn over Duke, which was incredible. Michigan, you problem solve the game, and you were able to pick the game. Arizona winning by 100. So if you problem solve it and you understand which to problem solve, it's not hard at all. But most people don't know how to problem solve and don't know what to look for to problem solve. So in the NFL, now they got you on props, and everybody's stupid going, oh, I get 10-1 on Joe Namath throwing for 300 yards, or whatever it is today would be Joe Burrow throwing for over 300 yards in the game. It's it's minus 180. You got to lay 180 to win 100. Is that a good odds? You have no idea. Why are you making that bet? Just bet Cincinnati go over. But they're getting you away from the normal bet that at least you can understand to these prop bets, which are ridiculous. The odds aren't even correct, but why would you even? How do you know how many yards? You know the game plan. Are they going to run the ball a lot? Are they going to pass? Why are you wasting your time doing these stupid prop bets? You'll never see me do a prop bet. I understand them and I could probably win at them, but I don't know what the line is. So I'm not doing them. But again, they're trying to get you off your kilter, but they're not. Even math. My daughter was doing math, and it was like a square, and it was diagonal. And what are you doing? It's just to confuse the kids. Can't do math. It's 22 over 22. It's 2 and 2 is 4. 2 and 2 is 4. It's 44. No, we don't want to make it easy. We want to do them diagonally, or like this. You're like, oh my God. I'm glad I went to school in the 60s. I'll tell you that. Bobby Orr and real algebra and football when it was normal. That's how I learned. So that's how I view it. Is the kids will just not learn anything. They'll just be told something, and Clinton was a good president. They'll be told that, and they'll just, okay, he was because my teacher said so. Well, you don't know. Was he? What did he do? Well, he caused the housing crisis. Maybe he wasn't a good president. He cheated with his secretary. Maybe he's a scumbag. I mean, that's the whole thing here. Trump, what a liar. We won the Iran war. No, we didn't. But he doesn't expect anybody to think and ask questions about it. Just just be obedient. This is what I said. So that's what I said. So it's true. Even though we've got all these other people going, we're getting killed. All my colonels going, no, Iran's killing us. They never had an army, our Navy, they never had an Air Force. So what's Trump talking about? And that's the thing. So people will just take Trump at his word instead of going, this doesn't make sense. And that's why I protest. We landed on the moon. There's no way. I protest. 9/11 was an accident. No way. Planes ran into it. No way. The building collapsed. Doesn't make sense. Air fuel cannot burn a building of steel down. Those buildings are made to prevent from winds knocking it down. It would only go down a floor. It was sabotage. You see the white puffs and it goes down. That cannot happen from a plane crash. So you just sit there and you question the answer and you go, this is bullshit. There's no fucking way a plane caused the trade centers to go down. And what really happened, there was a gold robbery. Now that was a magician trick. Watch the building go down while I load up my trucks with gold and go over the bridges. And that's where Israel got all the money. They were the ones who did it. So that's really why you question it and why you don't believe the government, because the government is never right. Because, well, we should tell everybody, no, we don't want to cause a panic. No, we'll just murder everybody and cause everybody to go broke, like in 2008 and 2000, in 1987. All these people losing all that money on these stock crashes, thanks to 1913 and the Federal Reserve. Why is the Federal Reserve bad? Well, because it's money printing, and money printing kills the dollar. You cannot have a system based on using the dollar as a medium of exchange if you print too much of it. You must keep it limited. And I know I read that to you before. Keep the money limited is the only way to go. And if you keep the money limited, then the money has value. That's why it was 20 cents for a Coke in 1972, or McDonald's, 50 cents for a burger, 25 cents for fries in 1972. Why is it $10 now? Because the dollar lost its value. You did the one thing you're not supposed to do, which is ruin the medium of exchange. You got to keep it low, which they didn't do. But again, you've got to critically think, why are prices up? Oh, the greedy manufacturer Orioles is raising the price. It's them. No, it isn't. My honeydews more. My grapes are more. You watch an episode of Seinfeld, and even in the what is that, in the 90s, and fruit was 39 cents for grapes. But even watch Hogan's Heroes, which is set in the 60s, and there's a few scenes, and they're at a fruit market, so LeBeau can cook the meal, and they're like 29 cents for grapes and 10 cents for an apple and things like that, because the money had value. So the money lost its value because you're printing it, because you're stealing it, because you're printing it and putting it in your pocket, makes the value worth less, because now there's too much dollars out there. This whole petrol thing, it's been collapsed for over a year. Now they're like, well, the petrodollar's done. It's been done for a year. They've been taking yuan and gold, Saudi Arabia, for at least a year, if not 2 years. So the petrodollar is, this is where I argue with Colonel McGregor. He goes, well, it's so everybody would use dollars to buy oil, and then they would use it and they'd put the money in the stock market or something. Oh, that's bullshit. That was used. You had to buy oil in dollars, and we would protect Saudi Arabia, was the deal. And then they had the U.S. dollars. They would buy treasuries, because what else were they going to do with the dollars? So they had to, like the euro I have here. Well, it's worthless to me and useless to me here. So what do I do with it? Well, I trade it in, and I get whatever, a treasury or something, but it's worthless to me here. But in Germany, I can use it. In the Euro cities, I can use this and buy a stick of gum with the $5. I mean, it's really worthless there too. But talking to Daria, the prices are up in Russia and in the Ukraine and in Germany. The prices are up all over the world, and it's all because the dollar gets printed and printed and printed. So then we critically understand that, and what do? We critically go, well, fuck, I can't keep holding the dollar. It's not the tangerines and oranges going up at the grocery store. It's the dollar going down. That's why things are more expensive. So to neutralize that, we're in gold, physical gold and silver. And yes, we're watching the paper price, because we don't know. We're too stupid to understand there's a physical and a paper price until somebody like me comes around and says, this is a paper price, not the physical. Physical is much more limited. It's a much higher price, but we haven't seen it yet. We will see it, but we haven't seen it yet. So as the dollar keeps going down, the gold keeps going up. People like Alligator McLeod seem to think it's a correlation. Well, as the dollar, it's not gold going up, it's the dollar going down. No, it is gold going up based on the demand for bricks pushing the price up. And it doesn't matter what the dollar is going down, but it's not a correlate. It's not, oh, the dollar went down $100 today and going up $100. It's the dollar has no value, and all the value, everybody's running into gold and silver to keep their value. So that's what Egon means when he says wealth preservation. What he's saying is you have $1 million, and if you keep holding it in dollars or euros or Swiss francs or British pounds or whatever you're holding it in, it's going to be worth zero. You will lose all your money. The only way you won't lose your money is to put it in gold and silver, because that can't be inflated. It can't be printed, which he gets from me, and and then it'll go up in value because people will lose their value in their dollars and run to where the value is, which is gold and silver. And that's why people run into it. Do I want to lose my $1 million? No, but you will. If you're in dollars, you'll lose your million. That's why I say about Warren Buffett and Gates and all these idiots. They're not getting out. They think, well, I have $1 billion, so I'm fine. No, all that will go to zero. And the only thing that will not is the gold and silver, the mantle card. Your house will go to zero and come back in gold. The Rolexes, those things will go to zero in dollars and then get a value in gold because they're highly demanded. So anything that's limited and highly demanded, you'll be okay in. Gold and silver is very, very limited and highly demanded. So that will hold its value. And like a mantle card, no Rolex, and a Brady card, they will hold its value. So once you have that, then you'll be fine. That's your protection. That's what Egon's talking about. And when I talk about it is, yeah, and the price will also go up because it's so limited. And you'll see $20,000 gold. And it's not a guess. I'm not doing anything like that. It's a fact. This is where we're headed. It has to happen. I feel like the guy in Mission Impossible, the last Mission Impossible, whatever they call that guy, the AI guy. It's what he wants you to do. No, it was the number 5. And Tom Cruise is bitching, going, but that's what he wants you to do. Well, maybe he wants you to get on the train. Whatever he wants is what's going to happen. And he wants this to happen and that. They want the dollar to go down. So they don't want you buying gold and silver and protecting yourself. But that's what you, the entity or whatever it is. But that's what you need to do is you buy the gold and silver. It's protection. You're protecting yourself because you can't hold your dollars in dollars anymore. And you can't hold it in stock or bonds, and you can't hold it in real estate trust. All that's going to zero. And that's why I bitch about Bitcoin or stablecoin. The digitals aren't backed by anything, and therefore that they are priced in dollars. And if the dollar goes to zero, and your house is going to zero, and your car is going to zero, where do you think Bitcoin's going? To zero. It's not limited, and it's not backed by anything. And if it's priced in dollars, we take dollars out of the equation. Can Bitcoin be priced in Bitcoin? What is it? We don't know. We don't have a value for Bitcoin. I'm against it. That's the whole point of it. Gold, this does not need to be priced in dollars. It happens to be. But if the dollar's gone, we'll have a price for gold and silver and copper and tin and nickel and platinum, palladium. All of them will be priced in the mineral they're in. So that's why we want to hold the physical, and we're not afraid of the dollar. And then on top of it, as people start losing their money and they go, what the fuck? They'll start buying gold and silver. So the demand will be the Titanic lifeboats. Everybody realizes they need the lifeboat because they realize the Titanic is sinking. And they're going, oh, fuck, we're going to die. We're going to drown in this freezing cold water unless we get on the lifeboat. And that's what we're doing. But we recognize we need the lifeboat the moment the boat hits the iceberg. We are then doing the same thing here. Once we see this dollar being printed to death and we see a $39 trillion debt, we run to the lifeboat. And that's why we've been in the lifeboat for 5 years, since 2021. We've been gold and silvering it and watching the price go from 1,700, 1,800 to almost 5,000 roughly. And silver, we're buying at 20, and now it's at 73, 75. It'll be back to 80s and 90s. So we're way ahead. We already see what's happening, right? We see the iceberg hit it. We see the dollar collapse because you can't stop it. You can't stop the Titanic from sinking, right? The water is coming in and you can't stop it. And the dollar's being printed and it has no value and you can't stop it. It's just inevitable that that's what's going to happen. And then we show you every civilization that's had dollars not backed by gold has gone to zero. The boats hit the iceberg and they've all sunk. And that's what's happening here. This dollar it's inevitable. It sinks. There's nothing you can do to save it except back it by gold. You could back it by gold today. It would save the dollar. It's the only thing because it's very limited and highly in demand. But since we don't have any gold in your Fort Knox, we cannot back the dollar by gold. Maybe that's what they're trying to do by pushing the gold price down so they can go buy gold. Hopefully that's it, but they got to come out with a gold backed currency, which they don't want to do. So they're fucked. They want to play around with digital. Good luck. It's not worth anything. A digital lifeboat would be a lifeboat with no bottom, or you go into the boat, but there's a hole in the boat. That's Bitcoin, right? There's a hole in the boat, and you're in the lifeboat, but the boat's sinking. That's Bitcoin. So gold won't sink. The boat's solid. It won't sink, or silver. Platinum, palladium, they're not the same as gold. They're not money. So you can't look at it like that. But that's really the whole key to it. And that's kind of where I'm drawing the lines. But again, you're problem solving all that. You have to problem solve the dollar isn't worth anything. And that's really the whole issue. People don't know how to problem solve. So they just see the dollar and they assume it's not going anywhere. Oh, I got $100. That's fine. Yeah, but it's not worth anything. Go to the grocery store. I went to the grocery store this morning after the bank and I bought a cantaloupe and some I'm going to get sloppy. I got to get meat for sloppy joes for the weekend. I got this and that. And it's $45. And I'm like, let's see, I didn't really get I got butter on sale and I got, I got an onion and I got some spinach. It was wrapped spinach. I got one. It was what is it? It's the a beet. They should put Titleist on the side. If you ever grab a beet in the grocery store, like a fresh one, they're as hard as a fucking golf ball. You could probably tee it up and hit it 200. So I got odds and ends stuff, and it's $45, $50. You're like, Jesus Christ. That's the value of the dollar dropping. It is not a beet, and I think the beet was 97 cents or something, but probably should be 10 cents. So as the dollar deteriorates, all these prices go up, but you don't even realize that. You don't know how to problem solve that the prices are going up because the dollar's going down. You can't process that. You can't problem solve it. You don't understand problem solve. You don't even understand to try to problem solve. You just go into the grocery store going, oh, okay, a 2-liter Coke's $2.99. Okay, that's what I'll pay for it. And half the grocery store is buy 2 for $5 or buy one. I saw my dark chocolates, buy one. They're $6.19. I'm like, fuck you, I'm not buying it. Buy one, get one at 40% off. I'm doing the math. Okay. So $2.40. So it's going to be over $10 for 2 dark chocolates. Fuck you, I'm not paying that. But it didn't go up because they're raising prices. It went up because of the inflation and the shortage of cocoa in Africa is driving the prices up. Just like if you go to the gas station, the prices around here jump to $4.20 are now like $3.70, $3.60 if I go to the right place. But you have to ask why. So I'm in the interview and I'm asking, why is gold 2000? The guy doesn't know. You're a fucking idiot. I don't want to work for you. You're too stupid to work for because you don't you're not asking why. You're not asking the question, does that make sense? So how can you run a company and analyze the company if you're not going to ask the question? You're not going to ask why. Sales are down. Why? Sales are up. Which product gives us the best margin? Which product can we raise price or do we have to lower the price as our sales drop? You have to analyze that. You have to be a critical thinker to be a finance director. And if you can't do that and it doesn't ask the question about gold, you're a fucking idiot. You shouldn't be running the finance department. It's like a football coach. Well, I'm going to go for it because it's 4th and 2 and analytics say, and I got to listen to analytics. Why? Do you even know if analytics works or it's out there, so you are going with it? And that's the problem. They're just going with analytics. They don't even know if it works. And then they all get fired. That's why you get 9, 10 coaches fired every year, because at the end of the day, it doesn't work and you lose. And when you go on 4th and 2 and don't get it at your own 35, and the other team goes and scores, I bet you lose 99% of those games. So you're not even asking, does analytics work? You're just saying, well, analytics says, go for 2 when I'm down 14 and go on 4th and 2. And I should shoot 3-point shots because I get 3 points versus 2 points. That's the beauty in basketball. Are you shitting me? You're kicking a 3-pointer because it's worth 3 versus 2? Even though the percentage is 20% versus 90% on a layup or 100% on a dunk. Well, let's say 98. I've seen missed dunks somehow. But that's the critical thing. Does it make sense? That's why I'm a good poker player. Check, a big bet on the river and a 2 of diamonds hits. And there's no diamonds or 2s out there. And the question is, does it make sense? That's how you have to play poker. You have to be a problem solver. You must be analytical. You must read all the bets. Does it make sense? If I check and you're betting, are you betting because I check? Or are you betting because you got a hand? Now, I might be checking with a big hand, which I do a lot because it confuses the shit out of you. Because then when I don't have a hand and I check, I'm not getting raised too often. Because they don't know what I got. Shit, the guy had a full house. He had trip aces. There's one hand I played, and I have pocket aces, and some lady ahead of me bets 40. I call. I don't raise pre-flop. I call, which puts a guy in with a 10-6. He was probably the big blind. The flop comes ace 10-6. 10-6 catches 2 pair. The lady, let's say she had kings or queens, sees the ace, she checks. I check because I got 3 aces and the 10-6 are different suits. And the 10-6 makes a big bet. Now he bets $100. The kings go out. I now have a set of aces I can't be losing, even if the guy had a set of 10s or 6s, right? And so I just call. And I think he went all in. So I call his all in, and I already got some money from the lady who folded pre-flop. And we turn over our cards, and the guy comes over and shakes my hand. He can't win because of a 10 or a 6, which would give him the full house, would give me the full house. But mine would be aces full of 10s or aces full of 6s, and his would be 10s full of 6s or 6s full of 10s. He cannot beat me. He comes and just shakes my hand, great hand. And then I said, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to beat you, but this is poker. But that was critical thinking. I checked the flop to get him off the trail that I had aces. And then when the ace flopped, he couldn't put me on a set of aces because I didn't bet the flop. So he doesn't know what I got. I have him outsmarted. He cannot possibly problem solve me. So then the next couple of hands, and I'm checking they don't know what I'm doing now. I'm checking the flop. I checked with trip aces. The guy could have anything. And that's what you want in poker, where they can't problem solve you. That's the whole idea of it. And that's why you give fake tells. You give a tell like you're very weak when you're not, and they'll problem solve you. Oh, he's weak. I'm going to make a big bet. How many times we hear Mike Madison go, Well, I thought he was weak, so I made the bet. Oh, that's exactly what I want you to think. I know you're looking at me. I'm problem solving you before you're problem solving me. And I'm giving you little clues that are false clues to what you can problem solve me off. So if you think of everything in terms of problem solving, then it's much easier to figure things out. And you should be problem solving everything. You want to problem solve women. Okay, well, you get some girls who let's go to lunch and they order, half the menu. And oh, I gotta go. I got a headache, and they don't come back, and you don't have a good time with them, and you start problem solving them. Well, if she really liked me, she would have come back, and even with the headache, she would have wanted to spend time with me. But look at how she ordered. Wait a minute, she didn't just get like a burger; she got 5 things. And then you start to problem solve that, and you go, yeah, I think I'll go out with this other blonde over here. So that's what you do. With Daria, I problem solved her as a poor Russian girl knowing Russia, and she needed help with her rent, and I helped her, and that was okay. But I believe she's telling me the truth. I'm problem solving her as she's not bullshitting me. Like she'll say, "Oh, I have a sore in my mouth." She'd show me the fucking X-ray. She's like saying, "Look, I'm proving." And she didn't even ask for money. It was more or less, I'm going to the doctors and I got this sore and it could be bad. And here it is. And here's me in the ambulance or at the doctor's, sending a picture of her in the apron and, getting an IV, and she's sending me the pictures. So I'm going, well, this is an honest person. So I got to take her as an honest person. And I'm problem solving her. Is she just fucking around with me? And I don't think so. Once she needed implants. And so I give her some money for implants. How much are they in Russia? After you do the exchange. And she shows me, she said, look, and then she shows me 2 teeth that obviously had got implants in. And she showed me before and after. So she's proving, look, no, I'm telling you the truth. Because I don't want you to think I'm lying to you. Well, that's so then you're problem solving that. So you problem solve a lot of people. So when I immediately go and I'm in the hot tub and I'll start talking to somebody and go, well, what do you think of gold? Or what do you think of the economy? Or what do you think of the war? I'll just say, what do you think of the economy? And wait for their response. And that will tell me if I'll problem solve them, and it'll tell me, can I talk about gold or not? Because if I just come out talking about gold, I got money in gold. Do you have gold? And when I start talking to them, they turn off because you're telling them they're wrong. People don't want to hear that. So you've got to be very careful with how you talk to people, even though you're correct. You're trying to help them. They're in trouble in the dollar, in the stock market, in the bond market, 100 grand in the bank. They're in trouble. They're going broke because they're in something that's worthless. That. So you try to help them with it, but they don't want to hear. So you got to be able to tell people that this is what's happening in a nice way. I do that a lot with the diabetes. It's all sugar. And where you see a fat person and I know they're diabetic, I know they're sick, they could have a heart attack or a stroke anytime because they're overweight. And obviously they're eating a lot of sugar and carbs. And so you try to be like, I'm trying to save your life, but they don't understand that. And so occasionally people will listen. You seem smart. I'm pretty fit. And they're like, oh, okay. And they'll start getting off of sugar and carbs and they'll start fasting, and then they lose a bunch of weight and they see me and oh, I'm so happy. Thank you for helping me. But I would do that for everybody, but not everybody wants me to do that or wants you to do that. So you have all the keys from me. The inflation, you buy gold and silver, the overweight, you fast, you get off of sugar, and it's a lot of veggies and a lot of meats and stuff. And all the answers, but when you try to tell people, and I know I've heard this from Bobby I'm going to buy gold and silver. Does anybody want to come? And they all look at him like he's an alien. And, and I go, Bobby, they just don't understand. I don't know what to tell you, but they're going to, when the dollar collapses, and it's going to, just as the Titanic, well, it's not going to sink. Yeah, there's a hole in it. It will sink. Yeah, they're printing the shit out of the dollar. You're in 5 wars at the same time. Yeah, your dollar's worthless. You're going to sink. There's not if, it's you will. And I don't really know the real value where gold and silver is going. It's going to be north of 25,000 gold and probably north of 5,000 silver. But I can't give you the exact number because I don't know. But I know it's going there, and it's not a guess. It's not an estimate. It's just using logic of what's happening and the price suppression that it'll go higher. But again, so you could go walk up to somebody and say, well, gold's going to 20,000, and get out of the dollar and get out of the stock market and get out of the bank, and nobody will listen. And that's because they're not trained. They go to school to be dumbed down. Like Frank Zappa said, you're going to be dumbed down. You're not going to critically think. You're not going to ask questions. You're going to do as told. You go to your financial planner. Oh, no, you want to be in the stock market, maybe an annuity, buy some bonds, and you just, yes, sir. Well, he knows. He's smart. He's a financial planner, so he knows what he's doing. Yeah, he's taking you for a ride by getting commissions off of you. He doesn't give a shit about you. I can meet a stranger and give a shit about them, and I'm not getting anything for it. I'm not charging anybody. I'm in a hot tub. How can I charge somebody? And this is the problem. So you try to warn people because you're a nice person. You know the answer, which is what makes it really hard, is I know where it's going. It's not a guess. It's not an opinion. It's a fact. But yet, what do? You're trying to, you're trying to warn people, and they don't want to be warned. And that's where the frustration comes in. And that's how you just got to problem solve them. So when I approach somebody, can I talk to them about gold or their weight or diabetes or fasting or autography? I know all this, but can I talk to them about it? And you kind of put feelers out. If you're trying to date a girl, you just say hi and look at her reaction. Sometimes they might be shy, so you do it a few times. Sometimes they give you a nice reaction, and you say, oh, well, it looks like I can ask her out. You're asking her out because she's attractive and you want to have some fun with her, and hopefully she's smart and you can have good conversations on sports and gold and health and stuff like that. Also, I enjoy talking about that. So you want a girl who talks about that, who looks good and you can play with. So that's really what you're trying to do, but you don't know. It's hard to approach them and just, hey, and then, I'm not interested in you. You're an old man. Okay, go fuck off then. So it's you're kind of same thing with gold. Can I talk to this guy about gold or silver? Can I ask her out on a date? Can I talk to this fat person about their weight? But you don't know if you can, and you're trying to look for clues, so you come up with something to problem solve their answer if it's okay to approach them or talk to them. And it's fascinating because you know all the outcomes, and yet they won't let you help them. And it's really a shake my head moment, Bob. It's really, you just shake your head and going, all these people are gonna just go broke and they won't listen. And it's tough to watch because I don't want to have you. All you gotta do is go start buy 20 ounces of gold or 50 ounces of silver and you'll be fine. But they won't do it. But that's the outcome. That's what's going to happen. It's just like, betting the football games. I do the same problem solving. And once I problem solve, Seattle 30-10 in the Super Bowl. Nobody's talking me out of that because I know that's what's going to happen because I problem solved the game. Oh, great defense. Kenneth Walker and Drake May's really not that good. And once you problem solve that and you realize it, what's going to happen. The best defense will win. Kenneth Walker, they're not going to stop. And so Darnold's not a lot of pressure. New England didn't score on Denver, not going to score on Seattle. So it became a very obvious bet. I gave you the score. It's on the video, 30-10, and then I even changed it to 27-13, which is, they both were basically nailing the score, and you're you're going to win money if you just listen. It's as simple as that. So when some other people come on and give, oh, I like New England, you're ripping your hair out going, this is my class. I'm giving you the winner, and you're questioning that, I figured it out. And that's a lot of these guys don't problem solve. They don't even know what problem solving is. And so you lose a lot of money gambling because you don't know what the fuck you're doing. Or like, I'll be a professional poker player, because I'm watching, Poker Stars or something, or the World Series of Poker. Oh, I see what's happening. No, you don't. Unless you're in their shoes, you have no idea what's going on. So, but people just watch it. They don't problem solve. Why did he bluff? Well, a lot of times is because the guy that they've been playing with for hours, he does this when he doesn't have a good hand. So it's not like the first hand they played with him. They see the guy and when he bets, he's got a hand. And when he checks, he doesn't have a hand. And that's what you got to mix up, is you can't let a pattern grow. You can't let them problem solve you. And then the guy starts playing poker and he eventually goes broke because he doesn't know what he's doing. And even if you do, you can still get pocket aces, and a set of eights gets you and check raises you, and you lose all your money. So you've got to, even with aces, you can't necessarily win. That's part of the game. And it's all luck. It's 90% luck, hold'em, because of the flops and the river. If the guy gets a full house on you, that's just, you shouldn't have been in the hand. That's why Phil Hellmuth explodes a lot, is because he doesn't understand. You called with a pair of fives to my aces and you caught the third five. And he gets all upset. What are you even doing in with fives? You shouldn't have been in with fives. Granted, he's true, but granted, they're people get feelings and play it. So a lot of it is problem solving, and not just taking it for word, not just saying, well, yeah, Trump said we won the war in Iran. So hell, we won it because Trump said it. They don't have an Air Force or a Navy. And then you realize they never had one. The dumbest comment I've ever heard. Well, they don't even have a Navy. Yeah, they're a desert. They don't have navies. They're not trying to go on the water. They're winning with oil and missiles. You're an idiot. And that's the whole problem with it. And then you're just taking it face value. You're going, oh, we're winning the Iran war. Ukraine's beating Russia. Russia's up 93-0, and you're thinking Ukraine can beat Russia. What are you, on drugs? Well, Trump said we're winning in the Ukraine. We're not. We're never winning in the Ukraine. And keep in mind, this is U.S. fighting Russia. The U.S. wants to fight all the BRICS countries: China, Russia, and Iran, and who else is in there? India, South Africa. Now you've got like Cuba going in, Venezuela going in, all these countries with oil, and they're all going into BRICS. They're all getting gold, and they're all going to go gold-backed currency. So that gives us the demand we need for the gold and silver to go up. So we're problem solving the whole thing, but don't think the Ukraine can beat Russia. Don't think the U.S. and Britain are behind it. Don't miss that. And don't think Putin doesn't know that. So who knows what's going to happen? That's why he's blocking my Telegram and WhatsApp from Daria. It's all that. Jenna can still WhatsApp me, but she's in Germany now, so she can't. She can still talk to me, but it's very frustrating trying to help people, knowing the answers and trying to help people, and they don't want your help is very frustrating because you know the outcome. I know the outcome. I knew Seattle was going to win with their defense, and Drake May's not that good. Their offensive line sucked. Their receivers sucked. They really don't have good running backs. We know all that watching the games. We don't look at them against the Jets in Miami. So we see what's going on. basically cluing in on Houston and Denver was the key to that their offense sucked. And their defense was okay, but after watching Kenneth Walker, they're not going to stop that guy. They could beat the Rams, and that was the key. They beat the Rams, they're going to beat New England. Come on. Anyway, so that's what you do is you don't take things at face value unless they make sense. So if you've analyzed it and you quickly go, yeah, Seattle's going to win the Super Bowl, and then they win the Super Bowl, and you go, that makes sense. That was a very quick problem solve because I had problem solved them in the other playoff game against the Rams. And if they beat the Rams, they're going to beat New England. And New England showing they couldn't score on Denver, they weren't going to score on Seattle. So I problem solved the game in 5 minutes from the last week's game. And I see the same with Arizona and Michigan. Problem solving Arizona's got a top 5 offense and defense. And knowing what's going to hurt Michigan, that is now there, it's not a for sure because Michigan's very good also, but I'm problem solving. Nobody's beating Arizona because when you have a strong offense and a strong defense, very difficult to get beat. In a team like Michigan, they lost to Purdue. I don't think they can win. I problem solve Connecticut Duke, watching Connecticut Michigan State going, now I see the team. They're a good team. They had a good shooter, well coached. Okay, Rick Pitino, St. John's were on there. So as you start, he's there. I didn't know Rick Pitino was the coach of St. John's. But as soon as I saw it, I bet him the next week against Duke with 6.5. They won. So it's a quick problem solve if you know what you're doing and you've done it for years. But that's kind of how you do it. So as I try to help you with poker, you're problem solving. Why did they make that? The most important thing is somebody makes a bet of $20 or $100, whatever card game limit you're at. And the question is why? Do they normally, like pre-flop, do they normally do that if they have a big hand or on a bluff? Then it gets to the flop. Boom, boom, boom. The guy checks. Does he normally check because he has no hand? Or did he hit a piece of it and he's got a really big hand? Well, how does he normally play? And then with me, you'll never figure it out because it depends what I hit. If I have ace king and I hit the ace, I'm betting it. I'm protecting the hand. If I have pocket aces and I hit the ace, I'm going to check it. So it depends what I hit, depends if I check or not. So you have no way of figuring me out because you don't know what the bet stands for. He checks. Well, he could have trip aces or he could have missed everything. He bet. Well, he probably has a pair because he's protecting. Maybe you can problem solve that. Maybe. But I might not do it every time, but I probably will. Anyway, that's what you're looking at. Problem solving women's very hard because they give you many signals. It's very hard to problem solve them. Are they smiling? You kind of watch the eyes because they give, you can't fuck with the eye. The eyes are the eyes. You're either you can't really hide that. It's what it is, right? Oh yeah. A wave. They wave at you. They say hi. Do they say hi or do they not say hi? They walk by. They don't say anything. Well, not real friendly. She walks by and says hi. Well, she obviously likes me. She's saying hi to me. And you just play it cool and you go from there. So that's the tells you get from the girl. Does she like you enough to say hi or not? Does she give you her eyes? Does she smile at you? These are all tells to see if she likes you. If you can then say, oh, yeah, she's attractive. I'd like to go out with her. Maybe she's pretty attractive, not a 10 or, not really beautiful, but she's nice. So you still want to talk to her. So that's why you got to be attractive to her also. You don't want to be with a girl you're not attracted to because it's never going to last. So it depends the type and style of girl you like. But that's the problem solving is that. Then once they're with you and you start talking, are they listening to you? Are they getting on their phone? That's where it's, now you're out to dinner and then, you're spending time, and then you see each other a couple times, then it's you start talking, there's no interest, or she's watching you, got her eyes on you, and talking back with you and learning. Alyssa always said that. I like how you the way you talk. I like how you teach me. I learn a lot from you, and so that's a good sign, right? So that's what you're looking for, is the interaction, and the same with you. If you're bored by her, she'll know that. If you are engaged in a conversation or holding hands or whatever, she'll understand that too. She'll understand she's problem solving you like you're problem solving her. And girls don't care about looks as much as we care about women's looks. Girls are trying to be safe. They're trying to be able to say what they want. If they like to be emotional, and they like you to listen and to be supportive. They like to feel safe with you. You have some money, but it's not that important. It's the time together that they feel comfortable with you. That's the number one thing. Girls want your attention and the comfort, so they feel safe. Daria said that to me. I feel safe with you. She's not bullshitting that. And she should. She can tell me. She said she was an alcoholic. She goes to Alcoholic Anonymous. I said, well, that's nice. I hope you get better. I didn't say, oh my God, you're an alcoholic. Fuck off. No, I was supportive to her. So she opens up and she can say that. And I go, that's fine. Get well, be healthy. And so they need that support. That's what a girl really wants. Somebody they can open up to and talk. That's why it's not really about the looks, and it's really not about the money. You need some money, but if the girl really wants your money, it's not worth being there with her. But you will obviously, if it's your girl, you're going to take care of her to a point, what you can afford. So that's with girls. I see guys in the locker room and they're like looking at themselves, and I just laugh at them. I go, it's about money. It's not about looks. And even really, it's not about money. It's about being safe with you, listening to them and talking with them and letting them say what they want. But that's problem solving women. You problem solve everything in life. It's a very interesting thing. So anyway, I think with that, let's go problem solve lunch and that. So again, this guy, Frank Zappa, was dead on. Surprising from a musician. If he's that smart, why is he a musician? But I agree. But that's what I've done here. I problem solve gold and silver and food and health and women and stoic. If somebody says that you're cheap, I immediately say, I'm going to get stoic on you, and I'm not going to allow you to say that. That's offline. That's dependent on my financial situation and what I deem as affordable. And, when I first met Jenna, she wanted a fur coat. I said, it's too expensive. Actually, I don't think I got the right price. It was like 50,000, but it was probably rubles, and it was probably 400 or 500 US, but I heard 50,000 and I said, I'm not paying 50,000. But I really should have said, what is it in US dollars? And it was probably 500, because they're not selling $50,000 fur coats in the Ukraine. So anyway, that's the point of that. So with that, time for lunch. I know I eat my avocado, but I'm still hungry. And what do I got? I got some chicken. I'll have an omelet, or I got tuna I can make. Got to go buy hamburgers at the grocery store. I go to my meat grocery store and I'll get some hamburger. I got sloppy Joe mix, so I'm going to have sloppy Joes. But I have chicken for dinner with the omelet, and then I need to either make more chicken or make my sloppy Joes to last me a few days. But I like changing it up. But I've been watching a lot of Gordon Ramsay. It's more how to prepare meals than kitchen nightmares. And he's pretty good. The only problem he has is he'll say, put it in the oven. He doesn't say how long, or he doesn't say the temperature. Or sometimes he'll say for 3 hours, but he doesn't say at what temperature. And then he says he says Celsius, not Fahrenheit. So in other words, I put it in the oven at 200. Or if I make my roast, it's like, I think it's 200 or 2 1/4 or something like that. But that's Fahrenheit. What is it in Celsius? So in other words, I might need it at a higher temperature because he's saying, well, put it in at 190, but he means Celsius, so it's not Fahrenheit. Anyway, it's good to know. What he does is he makes a lot of mixes. Then he'll like bake ribs, or he'll bake a roast, and then he puts the stuff on the roast, and that's where he gets the flavor from. Is all these, he'll mix, lemon and wine and olive oil and uh, garlic. Like, but he'll take a full garlic or onions and peppers, and he'll mix it in, put some sauce on it. He throws sugar on it, which of course it's going to taste good if you throw a bunch of sugar on it, but it's going to kill you. So I've been doing lately is putting cinnamon on it. So instead of putting a bunch of sugar on it, I'll pour some cinnamon for flavor, and I'm trying that out. But it really looks and tastes good, his stuff, from what I can see. I can't taste it, obviously, but I'm going, shit, I don't cook like that. I throw my omelet in my frying pan. I put olive oil on it, and I put my salt and pepper on it and some ginger. And I don't even put ginger. I put, because I can. I cut the hand of the ginger, and I peel it, and then I put it here, right? So my ginger's like this cut. Well, I can't really. I guess I can throw one into the frying pan. Or garlic. I put garlic powder in. I don't take a garlic and crunch it and put it in the whole garlic. But I think it's 6 of one and half dozen of the other. All right, let's check with our gold, and we will go. Uh, Excuse me. Ooh, happy days. Silver up to 75. There we go. And gold sitting nice at 46.54. So it should be through the 44 window. It looks like now we're through the 45 window. And now we're at the 46 window, approaching 47. So now I think we're finally, like I said, it was the triple witching on Friday, which I think happened more on Thursday. And then that now we're in the new month, and now it went up yesterday and went up today. And it's all bullshit with this triple witching, and they short it to get the price down. Then now we're after, and here we go. Look out, April. I think we'll see it back to 5,000 and back into the 80s. So that's why you be patient. It's all manipulated, but we just wait for the seesaw goes down and then it goes up, and that's we're getting the uplift. So very nice. 70 back to 75, silver, and 46.56. So very happy. I'm glad I didn't sell any gold. I'm close to it, but I think I bought myself at least a couple of months now. So hopefully once maybe at 5,500, I sell 1 ounce to get more cash, because it looks like we'll still be using cash for grocery stores and restaurants and things like that. All right. Well, have a wonderful day. I'm so happy everything. I hope everything made sense to you, and I don't see a lot of questions on it. I try to be very at a low level where you can understand it. I think people get confused when somebody like Luke, who buys gold stocks, and you're saying, what are you buying gold stocks for? You don't get that even if you make money, you're still making dollars. Now, if your intention is to buy the gold stock, watch the gold stock go up, sell the money and buy more gold with it, I'm on board with that. But you got to be careful. You're going to get caught. Oh, yeah, let's see what the stock market's doing. Fuck, it's 2 o'clock. Well, I started late. Stock market's up 1,000 back to 46. This is false. This is trying to say, hey, everybody, the economy's fine. Look what's happening. This is false. Gold is also false. It should be much higher. As we wait for our Daria, and hopefully it's not too long of a wait. But it is frustrating, and it does bother me. I'm much calmer when I hear from her and I know she's okay. That's why I like to hear from her, just to know she's in Russia. Who the fuck knows? All right. Well, have a good day. www.teaserking.com. You want to read what a teaser is? You want to email me? It does take you back to this page. And I'm waiting to I got to do a new intro. It's pretty old. I think it's like 16 years old, that intro. So I want to update it anyway, because I don't do as much technical analysis on trends, because you can't use that. So I will include that in the video. Anyway, have a great day. www.teaserking.com, and let's watch gold and silver run. All right. Take care. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it made sense to you. It made sense to me. Perfect sense. It's a lot of what I said, but it kind of focuses it in on really a little clearer on what I'm saying. All right. Take care, everybody.